Hey, it's Dave Gerhardt. I spent my career in marketing going from PR intern to CMO, and now I spend my time running Exit 5, which is, in my opinion, at least the world's best community for B2B marketers. If you need a place to connect with your peers, get feedback on your work, or just make new friends in marketing, you should go and check us out. It's exit5.com. You can learn more.
All right, marketers, grab your overpriced standing desk and that oat milk latte you love so much, because welcome to Notorious B2B, the only show where we treat LinkedIn drama like breaking news and expose the real B2B marketing sins.
Yeah, think of us like SNL meets TMZ, but for the people who argue about whether gated content is still a thing or not. I'm Task Bober, B2B landing page nerd and lovable troll on LinkedIn.
And I'm Tim Davidson, the guy making TikTok-style videos and cutting fruit on LinkedIn. Together, we're cutting out nonsense and roasting the most ridiculous trends in B2B marketing.
Because if we have to suffer through another 10 things getting engaged taught me about B2B sales, we're taking you all down with us.
Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Vector. You know them, the ones with the cute little ghosties in the feed, aka your favorite marketing team's favorite ad targeting tool. See why at vector.co. Apollo and Seamless AI were taken down because this is the assumption, because no one's admitting what it is, but it's a pretty good assumption that LinkedIn's cracking down on tools that scrape any LinkedIn data for like
personal data, I think, specifically.
Is it personal data?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the Chrome extension, you go into someone's profile, like just go in your profile and you can scrape email, phone, things like that.
Yeah.
Which
they don't like that. They don't like that. There are lots of tools that do this actually. So when they first announced this, or when I first caught wind of it, it was Clark's post, and he said those pages were taken down. Which who is keeping tabs on this? Like, how does that even come up?
Question.
You know, it's like he got that news like real quick.
I think so. There was people posting before him.
Okay.
I think once you just see it, you go to Apollo.
One time.
And some people start to do more investigation on other tools. Or if you're using those tools, obviously too, you'd be like, oh, what's going on here? This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And so no one's heard from the companies or anyone who's worked at those companies. I personally went to the G2 alternatives page, which I found a new use case for that page, and went through all the competitors, and none of them were taken down. So the three that we know of, I think that you said 4, is Seamless, Apollo, and Tripify. But last year, LinkedIn was cracking down on people doing the same thing or using like any third-party integration. So I'm like weird about that stuff. Like some guy emailed me today, like, hey, can you give me feedback on my new tool that's going to post to LinkedIn? And I sent back to him and I was like, dude, you better watch for this. Like, you don't want to spend a lot of time building something that LinkedIn's just going to kick out in like 2 seconds. You don't want that.
Too scary.
Yeah, too scary. So anyway, basically, it's funny that those are the only 2 companies when so many of them, and some of them are like literally have in their name, like leadscraper.com or something. I don't know. And it's like, that one's fine. And yeah, so some interesting things have happened now 3 weeks after this whole fiasco that happened with them. One, we got Zoë Hartsfield. You know what's funny is that I have seen these people over and over again on LinkedIn, but have not needed to say their names out loud. So these are like sometimes the first times I'm saying their names. So apologies if I ruin it. But so she's leaving. She worked at Apollo for a good chunk of time, actually right around the time I started posting on LinkedIn. So a couple of years now, did a bunch of stuff. She's like a notable, like quote unquote influencer in the space. She does the whole Oscar speech, right? We did great. I'm leaving, Thanks a bunch of people. And as for what's next, she's going to take a sabbatical. But she says, hey, I'm a W-2 girly at heart. So best believe in a few months, I'll be back at it and trying to figure out a full-time role. But for the next 3 to 6 months, I'm just chilling. So good for her. Love that. I love when people take sabbaticals. I had a former boss who is like a huge advocate for it after being burnt out. And
you can do it.
Yes. If you can afford it, absolutely do it. 6 months is not going to change anything, career wise. So I'll be interested where that's, where that heads out, whether it's
I think everyone's gone now.
Coincidental timing. Well, there's one more person in here. So Joshua Garrison also announced that he was leaving Apollo. around the same time. So his was 2 days, hers was a week. All things, his post says, well, all good things must come to an end, and my time at Apollo ended last week. Extraordinary chapter of my career, so grateful. Talks about some highlights that he did. And then in 2.5 years, which is around as much time as Zoe was there, built a brand, did a bunch of stuff. Well, what's next? For the immediate future, I'm doing fractional work with companies I believe in, talking to people doing interesting things and getting my hands on clay and some other stuff. So if you or someone you know is looking for me, someone who knows how to help a company grow, drop me a line. I'd love to chat. So one's going sabbatical, the other one's going fractional, which is interesting. Looks like he already has some clients lined up. And so this is just an interesting topic because of the timing of it all. 3 weeks ago, Apollo gets kicked out of LinkedIn for violating their terms of service with the data scraping. Then 2 kind of known employees leave 3 weeks later. And I don't know if you remember, but sometime last year, the entire social or community team left en masse. And I don't know why I was not fully in the tea at the time, but it was a very interesting development that had happened. And so it's kind of what is going on behind the scenes at this company? It
doesn't look good. I don't know, but it doesn't look good. I think
it does not look good.
It's quite the trend.
Yes.
It's quite, because their whole, I remember this was, it was about a year and probably 4 months ago when they were just hiring like crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely hiring like crazy. The whole Apollo versus ZoomInfo thing was going on. Everyone was loving Apollo, blah, blah, blah. Big buzz. They were doing all this silly stuff on social, big team. Then it's just over the last year and 4 months, everyone that was there, it's gone.
Yeah.
Shut down the company page.
Shut down the company page. For me, this is, and some of the people leaving and stuff like Zoe and Josh or whatever could just be coincidental timing and them just knowing people and opportunities come up, whatever. It could be that. But just given a little bit of the history, I wonder, there's obviously some kind of cultural piece that's happening. There's some kind of organizational way that things are running that either people don't like but 2.5 years in tech is decent tenure at a company, I feel like too, at the same time. So we don't know, but they've had a lot of drama for that, for the company, PR drama the last few weeks. It's just all happening very close together. If it rains, it pours kind of thing. But I did get some texts of people saying, what's going on over there?
Well, you can only see from the outside. But the question is, are they jumping ship or did they get blamed?
Ooh.
Company page is technically a marketing thing. Technically, usually.
Hey there, Jess Cook, head of marketing at Vector here. And anyone who listens to Tass and Tim on Notorious B2B is a friend of mine. So I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. Native targeting is filling your funnel with ghosts. Wouldn't you rather put your ad dollars toward, people on your website, clicking your ads, researching your competitors? I know I would. Vector lets you build ad audiences from those exact people. Unlike native targeting, which gatekeeps that shit, only letting you pick some titles and industries and then just trusting them to show your ads to the right people. Boo. Okay, rant over, go to vector.co and get your ad audiences right.
Hey, I'm Sahil, CEO of Spiralize, the company that captures winning A/B tests from 78,000 websites. So yeah, we've seen what actually works. This February, I'm teaming up with folks like Anthony Pieri, Jess Cook, Rob Kaminsky, Taz Bober, and Alina Vanderberg to host Above the Fold, a workshop-style event designed to help you build a better website. No keynotes, no panels, just hands-on practical sessions you can actually use. And one more thing. We're skipping the useless conference swag. No stress balls, no XXL t-shirts, no USB drives from 2008. Instead, we're donating that budget to charity and giving you something better. Real takeaways that don't end up in the landfill. Join us in February. Get the details at spiralize.com/abovethefold.
He has this kind of platform that shows brand mentions, brand search mentions for companies. And he put a post out specifically about Apollo, who, as you know, their LinkedIn page was shut down because of, automation stuff. We've talked about it a few times alongside Seamless. But according to Liam, their brand hasn't taken a hit. It's actually seeing strong growth. The post starts here. So he says, it's been 6 months since Apollo's account was removed from LinkedIn. So surely they're fully out of business now, right? As it turns out, not even close. In fact, when you look at the brand search data, they've continued to grow quite substantially since their removal. A reality that's pretty well corroborated by company news reaching 150 million ARR in May 2025 and ending 2024 at 134 million. After a massive search spike in March when they were removed, they've maintained a much higher position in search, showing no loss to their competitive set, and they've been showing strong growth in search terms that are very buyer specific. Moreover, they have been far outpacing category competitors who are still active on LinkedIn. Even the market leader ZoomInfo, whose earnings showed a modest 5% year-over-year increase, and whose brand search has been in steady decline for a couple of years. Brutal. Now, to be clear, this isn't to admire Apollo's efforts, who were rightfully removed from LinkedIn for scraping data in full breach of the TOS, but rather to say that we often conflate what's happening on LinkedIn with what's happening in the market. Basically, just shows the search traffic, I think it is. Yeah, brand search volume for Apollo in this graph here. It also shows like the competitor momentum. So Apollo is showing strong growth. Momentum is 62%. I think it's year over year. And then Seamless, who also got their account banned from LinkedIn, is actually the second on this list with about 20% year over year. And then after that, you have Lucia, Cognizant, ZoomInfo, all their big competitors. So their search volume, regardless, is continuing to increase despite everything.
In this little universe of, Apollo Seamless data, what is it, like data platforms, data providers. It looks like the share, ZoomInfo has the largest at almost 68%, but Apollo is second with 13%, but then much higher growth, which is, it is insane because we see this, we're in this little LinkedIn bubble. We see shit like this go down. I bet you Rippling and Deal are like doing exceedingly well. We think like one bad thing is going to like change, the trajectory of the company. The only one suffering here looks like Sales Intel. What's happening? 6.2% decrease.
I mean, the thing is they're smaller, like.
Weren't they just purchased? We covered that too, right?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah. But it's so interesting to us because it kind of shut you and me up a little bit too, because we're like, oh, they actually don't care. And LinkedIn's like one of the sources and they've moved on with their lives.
Yeah. I mean, you got nothing else to say. This is so true. I mean, we're wrong.
But we're also talking about momentum in terms of like brand growth and not like revenue, is it?
Right. But he can't, a lot of it's private. The only one you can get is ZoomInfo's on this list because they're the only public.
Okay. Well, okay. So when he's talking about the brand search volume, do you think that the increase is happening because people are looking up Apollo and Seamless based on the issues that have happened? So then the growth in brand queries are growing, obviously, because there's been a lot of drama around that whole situation.
So he mentioned that in the post, and I think you can kind of see it here with that trend. The bump is probably right here. There's
okay, but then it's still continued.
Then it's actually higher than it was before that.
Interesting.
So I think you see the bump, and then outside of that, everyone forgets it's just how it is.
Yeah.
And the volume's actually higher than it was.
Very interesting. Very interesting stuff.
All right, let's be honest. You probably didn't go to school for B2B marketing. I didn't. And that's exactly why we built Exit 5. It's now the top community for B2B marketers. You can learn more about our community and our in-person events over there at exit5.com, or at least join the newsletter. I read every message, and I promise that if you reply, I will reply back. See you over at exit5.com.
Big thanks to our friends at Vector for keeping your ad budget out of the shredder. It's the only way to build ad audiences by name and not waste another cent on native targeting. Bargain Boba loves hearing that. Check them out at vector.co. And that's a wrap on Notorious B2B, where we expose the nonsense and remind you that most B2B marketing is just a very expensive guessing game.
Don't, and post a passive-aggressive LinkedIn poll about it. We'll still find you.
And if you have B2B drama we should cover, slide into our DMs. We accept screenshots, leaked internal memos, and questionable brand rebrands.
Until next time, keep your marketing unhinged and your LinkedIn bio free of the words growth hacker. See you later.
Later, skater.